The Edifier QR65, which I've got behind me, are among one of the prettiest, best sounding desktop speakers that I've ever come across. Now, at the time of filming and in the UK, they can be found for £330, while in the US, they can be found for $370. The links down in the description below or the pinned comment, or even the QR code that can be found on your screen, will take you to your localized Amazon store. Now, in this video, which has been sponsored by the manufacturer, I'll be covering everything you know about it so you can make your own informed purchasing decision. So let's kick things off and talk about its sumptuous design. And it's available in a black and white finish, the former being pictured. And you also have two included silver finished stands with rubber mats to them, making it quite handy in certain scenarios, especially given the fact they give you an incline of 10 degrees. Now, the speakers weigh in at 5.3 kilograms and the dimensions will be on your screen. What really stands out more than anything is its frontal profile, which is very much the star of the show, with these RGB rings that go within it, therefore giving you a sense of depth, which is really nice touch by the manufacturer. The RGB lights have got a patented Tempo Abyss design, and here you have also got a button on the side panel which will allow you to go between 11 different presets. In fact, you can even customize it to your own heart's content via the Edifier Connect X app, which I'll be touching upon further down in this video. Now at the side you will also be able to see another knob, and yes indeed this is to adjust the volume, and also has got play and pause functionality, which is quite handy specifically, for example, if you have a wireless device. Then you have also got a power button which also allows you to cycle through the different inputs. Now there is also gallium nitride, GaN for short, fast charging capabilities at the rear. This is thanks to the fact that you've got two USB Type-C 65 watt ports and one singular USB Type-A port which will dispatch 60 watts of power as well. This means that you can charge multiple devices at once at really fast speeds. It is worth bearing in mind over here that looking at the table, it'll give you an indication of the combination that you can have and the maximum power output that you'll be able to get from the speakers. This actually perfectly brings me onto connectivity, and here you've got Bluetooth with the version 5.3 being utilized. You've got a variety of different codecs that are used, such as SBC and LDAC, the latter actually being preferred out of all the other codecs out there because of its cross capabilities, namely on Android devices. This will give you the utmost audio fidelity by reducing the overall transmission loss. Make sure you enable LDAC via the Edifier app, and also making sure that it's actually being utilized via your Bluetooth menu. This is what I was able to do via my Android phone. Now apart from that, you have also got wired connections such as RCA and also USB Type-A, which therefore meant that when I was connected up to my Windows machine, I was able to output 24-bit 96, which again gives it that high-res fidelity and also that certification. Now better still, the manufacturer has also thought of different connections and therefore means you've also got a subwoofer output. And this is very much appreciated because this means that you can hook up a subwoofer directly to the speakers to give it some extra low-end oomph. This actually perfectly brings me onto audio fidelity, and here you have got a 2.75 inch mid-low driver with an aluminium alloy diaphragm, each of which outputs 20 watts, so 40 watts in total. Then you've also got a 1.25 inch silk diaphragm dome tweeters, each of which outputting 15 watts, therefore tallying up to 30 watts. And therefore the total output is rated at 70 watts, at least according to the manufacturer. This is in part due to the fact that you've got dual TI class D digital audio amplifiers, and it gives it a frequency range of 55 Hz all the way up to 40 kHz. Now aside from this, you've also got a patented maze tube bass reflex channels and a turb muff air noise suppression technology, which effectively means that port noises and acoustic resonance are kept to their lowest levels. Now while that's all well and good, let's get on to an audio demo. I'll be placing the microphone and the camera in front of the speakers and also playing back a track which is from Priya and it's titled Like Me. Then I'll be going on to a piece to camera where I'll be presenting the Hyundai Inster on Totally EV. This will give you an indication of how the speakers perform with vocal tracks, and also if you're going to be listening to, for example, the news or of course podcasts. actually great to see that as standard across the entire trim range, you have got a heat pump that comes included as standard. For those people who are not aware what that means, it effectively adds to the overall efficiency when heating up the cabin on those colder climate scenarios. And that is because it's using heat that's dissipated from the vehicle's electronics, for example the battery pack, and feeding it into the cabin in a safe way. Now in terms of the range claims from the manufacturer, at least on the WLTP mixed driving cycle, it sits at 203 miles on the 42 kilowatt hour model and goes up to 229 miles in the 49 kilowatt hour model. Now I appreciate an audio demo over YouTube is not quite ideal because it will be compressed and also will give you a real lifelike reproduction. But you'll have to take my word for it as someone who's tested over 800 audio related devices that you actually get a really fully bodied sound, and it does actually do well across the sound frequency range. The mid bass is pretty punchy, the mids come out to the foreground with vocals actually sounding pretty lively, and the same could be said about the overall highs where they don't sound too sibilant or harsh either and therefore don't create any sort of ear fatigue. What's more surprising more than anything is the overall soundstage reproduction is actually pretty wide, despite the relatively small form factor of these speakers. Now to conclude, I would like to talk about the Edifier ConnectX app, and through the main interface you'll be able to see if high-res audio is actually being utilized, if the logo is actually illuminated. Then you've got the different input sources which you can select from, and also the sound effects. I actually found Classic work pretty well, therefore out of the box you get good sound, but you've also got a customized 6-band EQ, therefore giving you some extra personalization. You can also save and also share your own presets. Then you've also got the light effects, which are actually pretty comprehensive. Not only can you select between the different modes, but you can also customize them in terms of the brightness levels and also the color itself. Therefore, I'm sure you'll be able to find something that works for your own setup. Then in terms of the charging, it's quite nice that through the app, it's pretty clever in terms of determining and showing you what is actually connected and the amount of power that's being dispatched. Right now I've got a power bank connected up to the USB Type-A port, and you can see it's dispatching 4 watts of power. The same could be said about the USB Type-C ports as well. Then you've also got a volume control, which does what it says on the tin, and the same over here can be said for the media playback. In terms of the settings cog at the top right hand side, you've got a variety of different things such as the user manual, the prompt tones, power off, and also Bluetooth, which you can disable. And more importantly, as I mentioned before, you've got the HD audio codec, which you'll certainly want to enable. In other words, making sure that LDAC is actually selected and also being utilized. So there we have it. Hopefully you've enjoyed my detailed overview of the Edifier QR65. I'll be curious to know what you make of it down in the comment section below, and of course how you feel it actually performs across the board. Now, if you've enjoyed this detailed video, definitely do consider dropping a like, subscribing, and hitting that bell notification. All of which would be greatly appreciated. As such, I've been Totally Dubbed, and I hope to see you next one. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.